A blind man.
Yeah.
Yes, I think.
It didn't say how many people, but it just say large crowd. Sometimes, when they say 100,000, huge crowd, lot of people surrounded Jesus. Jericho is like northeast Jerusalem, maybe 20-30 kilo, so maybe 15 miles. And then Jesus was now heading from Jericho. He's passing Jericho, heading toward Jerusalem. When he arrives at Jerusalem, he was going to die. Right? It's the last trip to Jerusalem. So a lot of people were following Jesus. Question 2.
What kind of life did Bartimaeus live because of his blindness? He was a beggar, sitting by the roadside and begging.
Yeah. So because he couldn't see, he couldn't study. Also, he didn't even have a name. Bartimaeus means
He is son of Timaeus.
son of Timaeus. So,
So it's a par.
ah,
It's something like that.
so he even didn't have his name, no name, because very he doesn't.
Parents just abandoned him.
Right, yeah. I mean, he was not worthy to have his name. So, son of Timaeus. So he could not have job training, no education, no job training. I guess also he couldn't date or marriage. But he had to support himself. So he was sitting along the roadside begging. Blindness brought not only he couldn't see, but his whole life in darkness. Whole life. So, I have a very bad eyesight. So I really have a sympathy with the people who have a bad eyesight.
I never heard that actually. This is the first time.
From the both the 6th grade, when I look at the moon, there are about 5 or 6 moons, not one single moon. 5 or 6 moons, and I really don't know which one is the real moon. Do you understand? From the elementary school, I had that problem. So I really feel sympathy for those who have the bad eyesight. And then one of our missionary in Argentina, he has an eye problem in his right eye. It has something retina detachment, and then no medicine doctor can cure him. It's an incurable condition. So when I heard about it, ever since I'm praying for him, for healing the eyesight. But this blind man, worse, his condition is very, very worse. Whole life is darkness. Not only he couldn't see, but life itself, from morning till night, darkness. maybe better die than be alive. Question 3.
What disadvantage and obstacle did they have to go to Jesus compare with the crowd? A lot of disadvantage because they cannot see where Jesus is, and probably it's more like a competition. Many people want to go close to Jesus, but he kind of is in that situation. He's a loser.
Yeah.
Cannot mobility matter. Cannot move quickly.
Exactly.
Cannot see the direction.
The crowds, those who have both eyes or even one eye, they could go to Jesus, and they were following Jesus. 100,000 people surrounding Jesus. But this blind man, he heard about Jesus. He wanted to see Jesus. He wanted to go to Jesus, but he couldn't because he doesn't know who Jesus is, where he is. Even though he knew where Jesus somewhere, he cannot go because of his blindness. So he has a handicap, disadvantage, obstacle compared to the rest of the people. This person cannot go to Jesus, his condition, because of his blindness. Question 4.
What did he do when he heard that it was Jesus who was passing by? 47. When he heard that it was Jesus of Nazareth, he began to shout, "Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me." He shouted.
Why did he shout?
Because nobody cared. He just whispered.
I mean, he cannot see, but his voice, he has a voice, he can speak. So he could use his voice to reach out Jesus. That's the only way for him to reach out Jesus. So he shouted, "Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me." But there are, for some reason, if there are a lot of people, I say something, and then a full of people in this room, and over there, they cannot hear me. So, Sunday was full of kids here. So I couldn't say, what? I have to shout. But he's in the roadside, and then hundreds of people, passing by. How much, how loudly he should shout. Okay, so he had to reach out, only his voice has to reach out to Jesus. So he shouted, at the top of his voice, he shouted. Okay, someone can shout as like this blind man did. We have to be really real.
We can do it, but
Let's do it.
because it's a nighttime and
No.
we don't need to perform.
No, not acceptable. Now, blind man, it's nighttime, and so then he cannot reach out Jesus. He really. You wanna try?
You do it, and I won't do it.
Okay. I will try. That my voice can reach the outside the street. Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me. Wow. Well, something like that. He kept on shouting, "Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me." shouted as if I gotta, meet Jesus. He's just walking, and then he will never see him again. So he was desperate, shouting. Question 5.
Why did many rebuke him? What were they doing to him unintentionally? They were stopping him from going to Jesus, maybe.
Right.
And they were not allowing him to at least shout and make his voice heard to Jesus.
Yeah. So they probably, told him, "Shh, be quiet. Be quiet. Don't shout."
Actually, the shouting, like back then, 2000 years ago, still is kind of rude. So,
Maybe rude. But Jesus was considered, like a saint, God's prophet, and they treat Jesus in a very respected, noble way, and then shouldn't shout.
oh, even
And
kids at school, like get out of my classroom, and then eventually, and then go to the principal, and then he shot at me. What? And then, Mama, his teacher shot at me, and I talk to him. You cannot shout at my daughter.
yeah. And also, this is the beggar. This is a beggar, very insignificant, so that they treat him like a rude way,
Like warm.
Yeah, like the scum of this. Yeah, you are like not a human being, and you are worthless. They just ignored him, discarded him like that. So this is a very great moment. You be quiet, like that. So as Brother Timothy mentioned, what were they doing to him unintentionally? They were cutting him up from Jesus. He tried to reach out Jesus, but they cut him. To him, the only way to reach out Jesus was shouting, but they were cutting him.
Maybe in our lives, we may do something like that unintentionally.
We do.
Someone may be wanting to come to Jesus, but our behavior and our attitude may stop him from going to Jesus.
Yeah, we do.
So unless we are a right witness, we cannot take them.
Yeah, these are probably disciples. Disciples, they trying to make a good environment for Jesus. So we do. The Pastor T, whenever before his sermon, he pray that he may not be between God and the congregation. He said, let me stay aside. I may not be on the way. He always prayed like that. And that's true.
Previous church we had it together, actually. The Baptist church, American church. Yes.
But actually, I see it a lot of Jesus' disciples did that. Some pastors. I saw, some person have a problem, and then pastor ran to that person and what's the problem? Okay, this is the solution and have the solution. Then the person has no chance to meet Jesus because the pastor think he's helping that person. So, oh, you need money, here is the money. You need this, here it is. And then, to me, he's going between Jesus and that person. He's doing it. They think they are helping Jesus, but no, they are cutting him up. This blind man, cutting him up, going to Jesus. Question 6.
What did he do when many tried to silence him or call him?
Shout all the more.
Shout all the more.
Oh no, he is a beggar. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shout more. And what made him keep on shouting? Desperate, like situation. Like that's the only way he can do it. So he did all into that shouting.
He was disobedient, huh? Ask him, be quiet, and then he shouted even more, all the more. Son of David, have mercy on me. He shouted more. So that's the faith that made him keep on going. Because he had a faith. Like people with a handicap and live in the bottom of a society, they are very sensitive, very emotionally sensitive. And then somebody mentioned rebuke, and they just, they just go down, and then they are quiet because they are hurt. They are so hurt by the rebuke.
They attack before they get hurt. Also, we have a student like that. Whatever. What? Anyway.
Oh yeah. So I dealt with a lot of sick people. They are emotionally very vulnerable. And even though I say it's something very kind, if it hurts them, and then they become just so miserable. So this man was opposite. When they rebuked him, he was shouting even more louder, because that was his faith. He had firm faith in Jesus. We have a faith. Nothing can stop us. It is a faith. If we don't have a faith, we will be hurt emotionally. And then, but faith made him even louder. We want to go to Jesus. We want to go to Jesus. We want to go to Jesus. But always there is obstacle. Always obstacle. He overcame one obstacle. He overcame his condition of blindness. And he was shouting. And they said, "Shut up! Be quiet!" He overcame. Reach out, Jesus. We have to, when we want to go to Jesus, we have to overcome this obstacle by faith. We have to overcome. It's not like, I believe in Jesus. He's the son of David. He loves me. I want to go to Jesus. It's not like a smooth ride. Faith helps us overcome obstacles. When I wanted to go to Jesus, it was my own family, my relatives, my best friend. They tried to stop me. I had to overcome. So, he's a blind man. He couldn't see. He couldn't go to Jesus. Shouted. By faith, he shouted. And then Jesus' assistant or disciples tried to stop him. And by faith, he shouted all the more. Question 7.
Why did Jesus stop? What would you do if you were in Jesus' situation? Many rebuked him and told him to be quiet, but he shouted all the more, "Son of David, have mercy on me." That's the 40.
49, I think it's 49. Or 49 or 49:8.
Why did Jesus stop? Because Jesus heard his voice.
Yeah, Jesus heard him. Jesus heard his voice. His voice reached Jesus. Jesus. When Jesus heard his voice, Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me. You know, like 100, maybe 1,000 crowd is there. But miraculously, Jesus heard his shouting voice from far away. Jesus heard this voice. So when Jesus heard this voice, wait a minute, stop. Jesus stopped. Jesus, this shouting voice, searching, Jesus. What would you do if you're in Jesus' situation? So now think about Jesus' situation. How many days he has before his death by this time?
Maybe 7.
I said after he entered Jerusalem, about 7 days. So this is 1 or 2 days before entrance, because chapter 11 is entering. So it's 1 or 2 days before he entered Jerusalem. So we say it was his maybe 8, 9 days before his death. Jesus knew the day he's going to die. So suppose 8, 9 days he will live. And as we studied last week, couple of weeks, his disciples were still very worldly and they were almost divided. So in this situation, you are in Jesus' situation. What would you do? Would you stop to help one person?
I will.
No, I can hear your crying sound. Even we don't have to die. We have some problem. I see just people down and don't meet anybody and just cut and then just so sad and in isolation and don't talk to anybody. Jesus before his death. And also disciples were so immature and worldly. He stopped. He put up everything. He put aside everything to take care of this shouting beggar. You know, when I have a problem in my mind, I cannot talk any words. My mind is so heavy, I cannot talk any words. I just come in and go to my room and close the door and then worry about it. Jesus is amazing. In such a situation, he stopped to help this soul.
I think it's like a more like a, when there's something like a very strong anxiety and a matter, and then the distance getting closer, and you get more and more. That's what I feel actually to school, going to school. The distance getting closer to the school, and it's before Thanksgiving. I took a lot of stress, and then when distance getting closer, I take more stress. And then people are aware, Mr. Lee, what happened? What's wrong? You're not smiling anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's terrible. I had a kind of conflict with the student. And I think so. What Jesus is right now in that huge, like matter, dying for sin, probably, yeah.
You know, I can say some our church members, when they have a problem, they don't call, they don't talk, so maybe have some problem. But it's not a problem of death. It's not a problem of death. And some small problem, but they just stop talking and they just like that. Jesus is amazing. I don't know if I can do. If I knew I have only 10 days to live, I can go out and help somebody in trouble. So, question 8.
What was his response to Jesus' calling? Why was such response so important? The response of the blind man was he threw his cloak aside and jumped onto his feet, and he went to Jesus.
Right.
That was his response. But why was such response so important? Suddenly, now he has that hope that he gets healed. We don't know how long he was suffering there. Now Jesus heard his voice, and there is a hope that he'll be healed.
Yeah.
Because he called Jesus with faith, and maybe he knew that he had that hope that if he can go to Jesus, he can be healed. So whatever burden you have, that was what maybe he was carrying with him, the cloak, because he was on his roadside. He was maybe just carrying his weight load of whatever he was having. So we need to throw away whatever we cling on to. Then go to Jesus when he calls. With hope and faith.
Yeah. At that time, cloak is very expensive item. We throw away, if out of fashion, we throw away. And then at that time, Apostle Paul said, I left my cloak in somewhere next time, please bring it back like that. Very expensive because the cloth is very, so many times people will hold without clothes like that. This is a very expensive item for him, but he threw it aside. He jumped to his feet. You cannot expect from blind man this kind of reaction, and came to Jesus. He is very aggressive, positive, aggressive. He just very active. We invite the people to Jesus, to Bible study, or and they say maybe it takes months or years. He jumped because he knew the value. He knew who Jesus was. He knew what he can receive from Jesus because he knew it. This is the chance. Once in a lifetime chance. Like winning the lottery, We almost, people who won the lottery, almost they said that they almost had a heart attack, pissed out. Because they knew how great it is. He knew what it is to see Jesus. This was the last chance, whether the beggar was available or not. This is Jesus' final journey. And he entered Jerusalem. He will die on the cross. This was final moment, final, no second chance to him. Other times, Jesus around, people are looking for Jesus. Jesus went mission journey, and then Jesus came back. Jesus gone, Jesus came back. But this time is the only last chance. When we go to Jesus, we must go to Jesus like this man. This was the last chance, life and death. When I wanted to meet Jesus, I just, when I see people, they forget because it's mealtime. They eat and they forget. And they do something, it's time to go out play, and they forget. So like meeting Jesus, they just delay like that. To me, meet Jesus, if I don't meet Jesus this time, I would die. I will be permanently, remain in ignorance. I must meet Jesus. I just cannot eat. I cannot sleep. I cannot do anything. I just, pursue. So this blind man pursued, and was lucky he was, because it was the last chance, Jesus' last journey. He passing. So people who delay, maybe next time, I don't know they ever can meet Jesus. Question 9.
What did Jesus ask him? What do you want?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to see.
What do you want me to do for you? Jesus.
Right.
What do you want me to do for you? Jesus said.
And he said, I want to see.
That's question 10.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
Okay. So, even though I am not Jesus, I'm going to ask you as if I were Jesus. This is Judy. I'm acting like a Jesus. What can I do for you?
I said my family.
Okay. Brother Timothy, Jesus says, what do you want me to do for you? What would you say?
The same thing.
Save your family?
Yeah. Because my wife and children are in India and I'm alone here.
Uh-huh.
So at this point of time, if Jesus asks me what do you want, I want my wife and children to be with me.
Okay. So, what do you want me to do for you?
I want to see the truth.
So I ask myself, what do you want me to do for you? Me too, family problem, because my family has been divided, So my son, my daughter, two daughters disown me, and then one daughter is with me. It's very painful. So, I've been praying that Jesus may heal my broken family. Okay. So question 10.
What was his request to Jesus? 51. Rabbi, I want to see.
Yeah. Rabbi, I want to see. One thing. See. If I see, all his life problem will be solved. Here in the Bible say Rabbi. Greek Bible says Rabboni. How many B? B, 2B. So he says Rabboni, I want to see. Rabboni is higher calling than Rabbi. It's the highest respecting. So he really called Jesus Rabboni, the highest respect calling. I want to see because I'm blind. I don't see anything. I live in darkness. So please help me to see. Question 11. Whose turn is it? Question.
Compare the physically blind with the spiritually blind.
Okay. This man, physically blind, he doesn't see. He does not see. How about here? Spiritually blind people. They see, right? See. How about here? Does he know that he's blind? Yeah. He knows. He knows that he doesn't see. He doesn't see. Here, how about here? Do they know that they don't see?
I don't know.
Spiritually blind, They don't know.
Maybe they are self-righteous.
Right. That's why I was gonna come. Don't know.
Later you have to read.
They don't know that they don't see. They don't know. Because I was thinking self-confidence. Self-confidence. You know, Apostle Paul, he was persecuted. He was, putting Christians in the jail and all the trying to destroy the church. He had the self-confidence. He was 100% right in his own. But when Jesus appeared, then he saw, but he became blind. He became blind. He was blind man. He didn't see. He didn't see. So because physically blind men, they knew they don't see. So they asked Jesus, have mercy on me. They asked Jesus. I want to see, Lord. Open my eyes. Have mercy on me because I don't see. I live in darkness. They went to Jesus. Spiritually blind. They don't know that they are blind. So they don't come to Jesus. They don't ask Jesus. They don't ask Jesus. In the Bible, Jewish religious leaders, Jesus said, they are blind. Blind leads the blind. So, blind means.
That's what he mentioned a lot to students.
Did I use the same sentence?
Wow.
Yeah.
Today's message is
Yeah.
really like
Blind leads
people
blind.
The students were talking and
Right.
a
Blindness.
new group of students came to the class, and then I said, if you have any doubts, ask teachers. Don't ask among yourselves. It will be like blind leading another blind.
So, because spiritually blind, they live in darkness. Live in darkness. And they don't come to Jesus because they don't know they are in darkness. Question 12.
Me?
Whoever.
What did Jesus say to him? Your faith has healed you.
Yeah. Just go. Your faith has healed you. When Jesus said that, what happened to him?
He received his sight.
Immediately he received his sight.
healing power came to his eye. Instantly, he received his sight. Because Jesus' words has power. Jesus' words has power. He didn't have to go through doctor's appointment, exam, month treatment, surgery. No, everything. Instantly, he was immediately healed. He received his sight. Because Jesus' words is a spirit. Life-giving spirit. Question 13.
How can one meet Jesus? Shout!
Yeah, it's a prayer. It's prayer.
Call him,
Yeah, call him.
throw away your cloak.
Right.
So, there were disciples, a large number of people. They didn't meet Jesus. Physically, they were close to Jesus. This blind man was the farthest. Physically, he was the farthest place, but he reached out Jesus by faith. Faith connects us between us and Jesus. It's faith. We reach Jesus through faith. We believe in through faith. So all the crowds were closer to Jesus. And this blind man was far away. But he met Jesus through faith. It doesn't matter where we are, through faith, we are, connected to Jesus through faith. Through faith. So, trouble is not trouble. Trouble is and make us to go to Jesus and have mercy on me. Have mercy on me. And then trouble lead us to go to Jesus, and we taste power of Jesus. We receive mercy of Jesus. That is meeting Jesus. Not like a blind condition, back and forth. I love Jesus. Jesus good. No. We have to have power of Jesus. We have to experience the power of Jesus. That is meeting Jesus. We don't follow Jesus like the crowd. We follow Jesus like this beggar. We have to experience his almighty power of Jesus. That is meeting Jesus. Okay, let's share what we learned.